Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to do angled bob. You can as well call it a diagonal bob. It's gonna consist of twist outs and lock knots. Enjoy the video, share to your friends, and stay locked to the end. Hello and welcome guys to another styling session. Today we are going to do a diagonal bob, and what makes the look diagonal is that you will realize that we'll be having a distinctive line which seems to be slanting downwards towards the front, so from the back. So in order to balance and give a flattering look to our bob, we are going to kick off at the nape area. Then slowly we shall be advancing towards the other areas. So let's quickly kick off at the back, and I want to advise you guys to stay locked up to the end. We are dealing with mannequin hand, which has got artificial locks. For more about how to do this kind of artificial extensions, you can just revisit the channel for such tutorials. On the video guys, we will be highlighting the basic techniques and important areas where to start the styling in order to come up with an intricate style. So as you begin, one thing you will notice that you need to align the lock strands at the center upwards, that is, so as to get a clear view of your styling. We are going to start at the back. And why are we starting at the back? This is to get the level from which now we are going to align our diagonal look towards the front. Let's quickly get our level from the nape area by doing the lock knots at the back. So just to give you a recap of what we are just about to experience is that at the back you realize that I will be managing single strands. Why? Because at the nape area the lock strands will seem to have longer length than at the middle area. So as we approach the middle area, we shall be incorporating additional strands. So at the back, I'm going to use single strands just to manage the volume as well as giving our look a balanced touch. So let's go ahead and kick off. Now, this is how you do the lock knots at the back. Just fold the lock strand against your fingers, ascertaining the length that you want. If you want this level, you can fold it against the 4 fingers that way. If you want shorter length than this, then you can just go ahead and fold it against 3 fingers. For instance, I'm gonna do 3 fingers. Now, upon folding the lock strand, just hold it tight at the roots using your fingers and wrap it around in a clockwise manner. That way, wrap it around in a clockwise manner. Don't be too tight. Wrap it around that way, all the way backwards, that way, to that level. Now, upon reaching this level, you realize that after folding the lock strand, as we began, we created certain loop at this point. So just pick your crochet, insert it through the loop. Remember, now we are just going to interweave the lock strand to create a stopper. Pull it through there. You pull it through the loop that way. You see, that's how you interweave the lock strands without using rubber bands. So let's go ahead and manage this length. Now, by managing this length, we are going to do it anti-clockwise. Remember, we were doing the lock strand in clockwise manner. So now we are going to do it anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise towards the roots. That way. Anti-clockwise. Along the lock knot. That way. Anti-clockwise. Until the length diminishes. To a certain level, we'll have to manage the remaining tip. Just manage the remaining tip by pulling the tip inside the lock knot. Just pick the tip and disguise it inside the lock knot. that way. That's how you manage the remaining tip. And now this becomes our first lock knot, guys. Have a look. That's how now we are going to do the lock knots to certain level, where now we shall incorporate traditional strands as we move on and on. So that's how you do the lock knots. All right, we have just done the lock knots up to certain level. For instance, on my case, I've done 3 lines at the back, the first line, the second, and the third. Just for the sake of our beginners, let's do this lock strand all together. Since we need some length and we are using 1 strand and we need to levelize our lock knots, you need to leave behind some portion from the roots. Remember, we had started by placing our fingers exactly at the roots. Now we are going to skip some length out of this level so that we can levelize our lock knots. Let's do so all together. Just levelize our lock knots that way. That's how you do the lock knots. Very simple for our beginners. You can as well, guys, choose to share the video to the world that way. Just since we had just created the loop, you need to insert the crochet hook through the loop, pick the remaining tip at a certain level. This time around, guys, we are not going to wrap the remaining tip and clockwise, but I'm gonna improvise another way of interweaving the lock strand. Just pick it at certain length, then fold it inside the loop. Let's see how it works out. You just picked it at a certain level, don't let it come outside, just fold it and let it just stay inside the loop that way. You see, now we have done the final lock knot at the nape area. Now we're just going to do the twist outs as we do the lock knots all together as we levelize the rest of the styling. This is wow, guys. Can have a look. Now we are almost winding up, but I always leave behind lock strands just for our beginners so that we can, work together. And for those who want to know more or get more detailed way of doing, styling, you can reach out for my virtual classes. I have virtual classes, so you can reach out via WhatsApp. We can communicate. I've just given my number up there, so you can just reach out via WhatsApp. We'll communicate and make arrangements towards the virtual classes. So we have left out these 2 strands so that we can work together, but let me give you a recap of what I've just been doing. I did twist outs. Remember, we began at the nape area by doing single lock strands, whereby we did the lock knots. Why? Because we wanted to manage the length of the lock strands as well as making the lock knots standard. I understand that our pro stylists might be knowing how to come up with this kind of twist outs, but for our beginners, guys, this is how you do the twist outs. Pick the 2 separate lock strands and twist them both in clockwise direction. That way, you twist the lock strands in clockwise direction a little bit that way, then you interlace them that way. Just interlace them that way, then twist a little bit once more in clockwise direction as you work backwards that way. Every time you pick the separate lock strands, try and twist them in clockwise that way. Clockwise, 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 then weave them together backwards all the way to certain level, where now you are going to ascertain the level of the lock knots. Like on my case, this is the level of the lock knots. So I'm gonna apply a loop by folding the lock strand against my fingers in that manner. So pick the strand that you have just folded and wrap it around in a in a clockwise manner and release it. That way, take out your fingers from the loop, pick all the strands all together, then pick the lengthy lock strand that way and wrap it around that way, and wrap your lock strand in a clockwise manner that way, backwards. After a certain level, you realize that the lock strand ends at certain point, so pick the remaining tip and wrap it around as well that way. Very simple for our beginners. Wrap it all the way to that level. Then the remaining tip, this is how you manage the remaining tip. I'm gonna pull the remaining tip inside the loop, but I will not let go the tip. I'll leave it inside the loop that way. Don't pull it out, just leave it at certain level so that the tip can remain inside the loop that way. Then let's levelize our lock knot. So right now we are done with this side, which is in level. We'll go ahead and do the angled side, which will give that diagonal look. Now welcome to the final section, and on this section I'll try as much as possible to be detailed, just for the sake of our beginners, as well as, you know, giving some tips to our pro stylists. So this side we need to give the diagonal touch, so our diagonal touch will be given on this section. So let's go ahead and start. This is how you do the twist outs, guys. Remember to subscribe to my channel, like my work, comment, and share to your friends. To certain level, just create that loop and, you know, give additional length so that you can create that diagonal touch. Then wrap the lock strand once, let it lie against the loop, pick the lengthy lock strand. As usual, we need to deal away with the black part. That's where we are picking the lengthy lock strand, so that the black color doesn't interfere with the other colors at this part of the lock knot. So let's wrap around, wrap it around. So guys, those are just some of the tips that I really needed to highlight as we do the styling, so that whenever you face challenges, you can know how to handle them as you do your styling. You can pick the remaining tip and wrap it around, securing the ending tip of the previous strand that way, and wrap it around. Then, considering that we have a loop here, pick the remaining strand through the loop that way, then wrap it in anti-clockwise manner as usual. Then you can disguise it inside the lock knot that way by picking the tip through the lock knot in that manner. Then you can mold your lock knot to your desired look that way. Then let it lie. If you can have a quick look, now we have just started creating that diagonal touch. Have a look. Let's do the remaining lock strand all together at this part. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You do the twist outs. Then to certain level, let's give our styling a diagonal touch. Pick the lengthier lock strand, wrap it around in a clockwise manner as I elaborated there before. That way, wrap it around in totality. This time around, just pull the tip inside pull it inside that way. I'm gonna disguise the tip inside the lock nut that way. Then pick the remaining lock strand and wrap it in anti-clockwise manner that way. Just wrap it in anti-clockwise manner that way. Then disguise the main part inside the lock nut as well. So these are just ways of, interweaving the lock strands so that you don't end up using the rubber bands. You can have a look, guys. This is how my lock nut looks like. This is wonderful. This is truly amazing efforts, considering that we are handling artificial locks. With natural locks, you'll get a well-defined look more than this. So leave it at that point. Now this is our diagonal touch, which is getting in place. Have a look. You can attest that we have a distinctive diagonal touch at the right side. Have a look, which is slanting downwards towards the front that way. Now we are going to do the rest same way, and we'll be levelizing our touch on the right side with this diagonal touch. Let's go ahead. Now we are winding up, and just to emphasize on our look, you can closely note that the lock strands are framing the face and they are aligned with the arc of the eyebrows, and the reason being that we needed to harmonize the overall facial look so that we can bring out that flattering and well balanced appearance. And another thing to note is that our look is diagonal in a way that the left section seems to be in level, whereas the right section seems to be in a distinctive diagonal appearance. By framing the face in this manner, we needed to come up with a balanced symmetry of this nature so that we can harmonize the facial features. So let's go ahead and finish off by doing the remaining two strands all together. Just for the sake of our beginners, I'm gonna be slow on this. On our final kick, twist out the lock strands all together. Remember, we say that the lock strands should be twisted in clockwise manner a little bit before you interlace them that way, so that you can give out a well-defined look. Remember that these are artificial lock strands. On natural lock strands, you expect to get a well-defined appearance more than this with easiness. Wrap your lock strand in a clockwise manner that way, backwards. Up to that level, pick the remaining strand, wrap it around as well that way, all the way that level. Then pick your crochet, pick the remaining tip, pull it through the loop. Since the tip was a little bit longer, you can try and disguise it inside the lock nuts. And this is our finished outcome, guys. You can have a look. On natural locks, you can get a well-defined look more than this, but on this case, I believe that we have just done our level best, and the look looks amazing. we need to go around as we have a look on how the the lock knots and the whole style is complementing. So let's go around so you have a nice look. Can have a look at the back. Our lock stones are well balanced on this side, and the facial area, the diagonal touch on the right side, the back part, and the left part. Have a look on how the diagonal touch has just given our style a brand new cute perspective. And if you are after a style that will make you look handsome both in a formal and casual setting, this mixture of lock knots and the twist outs, it's what you want, with the diagonal touch on the right side. Have a look. This is truly amazing. If you want to join my classes, reach out on the number given on the video. You can as well trace my email address on the description. Like my comment, share to your friends. I trust the tutorial was quite informative. Consider sharing. Thank you.